All right, so thank you all once again for making time to join us and continue our series. So, today we are here once again to talk about anger management. But before then, we thank God Almighty for giving us life to meet once again to interact. My name is Kwesi.
Okay.
I would like to appeal that when you join, we mute our devices so that the background sound from your end will not interfere with the conversation we are having. It's going to be interactive. There'll be aspects where I will want you to share your views. So when it is time, you kindly unmute and speak. But if you are done speaking, you just put your microphone on, just as we've been doing always. I also want to thank the organizers for this program, Ghana Psychological Association, Spring Board Roadshow Foundation, and MasterCard Foundation under the Ghana Grows Project. So this is a wing of the Ghana Grows Project, which we call the Care Corner, where we meet, interact, and share views concerning our mental health in general. For some weeks now, we started the sub-concept series. And in the sub-concept series, we discussed the concept of self-confidence, self-esteem. We also looked at how do you call it? Being, I've forgotten the term I wanted to use. And then we had other ones. Today we are looking at anger management. So to ground, and then let me also acknowledge the presence of our organizer, Madam Claudia, with us. She is the organizer for the care center or the care corner. All right, so as we move in directly, the concept of anger management, or what anger is and how can we manage this concept. But before then, I would like to ground our discussion on some scriptures. So what does the scripture say about anger? What does the Bible say? And once again, I would like to say sorry to those who are non-Christians, but however, I'm sure these guides all will help us understand the concept very well. Let's ground our discussion today on some few scriptures. If you look at Proverbs chapter 14, verse 29, it says over there, whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 to 27 also says that in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. James 1, 19 to 20 also says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. And in Psalm 37, verse 8, it says, let us refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. We are talking about anger. So these are some biblical foundations that I would like us all to meditate on this concept. Because as the last scripture says, when we do not refrain from anger, it will lead us only to evil. And Ephesians is saying that we should not give the devil the chance through our anger. And also our behavior that we put up when we are angry, according to James 1:19-20, says that it makes us do things that are not the desires of God. So, ladies and gentlemen, anger is a concept that we have to look at critically. So I want to ask a few questions, and I want you to unmute and share your views as we move in. So my first question is, how do you differentiate between anger and frustration in your daily life? Do you think these two concepts are the same? Another person can also give us a view to how many of you believe that expressing anger is always harmful? If you think expressing your anger is always harmful, you can also let us know and tell us why you think so. Then, have you ever gotten into an argument over something silly, something that you realize that is very, very, very unnecessary, but you end up getting into arguments with that? If maybe you can share some experience with us. And then my last question, in your opinion, how is anger perceived in different cultures? So maybe from your culture perspective, and I like it how we are all from different backgrounds. In your culture, how is anger seen? Do people see it to be a sign of weakness or a sign of strength? So maybe some few people can unmute and share their views that you can respond to any of the questions over here. Who will go first? You can unmute and speak, or you can raise your hand and you'll be called. Hello. Okay, then let's take it one after the other. The first question is saying, how do you differentiate between anger and frustration? Are they the same? Who want to respond? Oh, I don't have participants today to speak to me. Is expressing our anger always harmful? Yeah, Ishmael, thank you for at least coming to rescue us. Yeah, Ishmael, please, you can speak.
Oh, okay. So I'm answering. You said we can answer any of them, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll start with how many. So how many of you believe that expressing anger is always harmful, and why do you think that?
Sure.
So I I'd say I do believe is expressing anger is most of the times harmful. But why do I think that? I have another side to it. So, although I believe it's harmful, you might do something you're not willing to do. Yeah, you might do something you didn't even plan to do. Then at the end of the day, you might come back to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did that." Um, going through the whole apology stress alone is harmful. And a damage caused cannot be repaired. So let's say maybe a typical example is you're upset and then if your boss calls you and you're like, when you get upset, or you experience anger, it affects a series of things you do in a day. So I want to give it to like maybe on your way to work, you encounter this driver, or you encounter this mate who does something that makes you upset. Then you get to work, and because you were upset, you set your mind in the car. Definitely, people would see and people would just have a different perception about you. Already, you've dent your reputation. One, you've dent your reputation. Two, now you can't go back to correct what you've done. So yes, expressing your anger is most of the times harmful, because then you go into reputation dent and you can't correct that. The second side I have to it is, um, you know, it's okay. I don't know, but maybe you are the psychologist here, so I'm just asking a question. Do you think um expressing anger is wrong? Because I feel it's right. When you look at Jesus going to the synagogue where the people were selling, if he was calm, the people would have taken advantage of the situation to keep selling. But because he acted and then he whipped them, they stopped selling. Again, if you don't have that reflex action for anger, don't you then think it would also let it be wrong, and then there won't be balance in nature? So having my question after answering the question is, now, having anger, is it wrong? Because I don't think it's wrong. But
Okay, all right. Ishmael, thank you very much. And I really do get the point you are making. So you are seeing it from the two sides. All right. Uh, okay, let me take some comments in the chat. Prosper Omega G. He is saying that expressing anger is not harmful because when I am angry, I want the other person to know that I'm not happy with what he or she has done. Then I'm okay. Then we all move. Good. So after he expressed his anger to the person, at least he let the person know that what you've done, I don't like it. Good. All right. Then Abdul Basit Al Hassan, he said, okay, he's responding to whether anger and the difference between anger and frustration. And he said he doesn't see the difference in there. He said anger and frustrations are okay, sorry. He said anger and frustrations are two different concepts, in my opinion. I believe that people usually get angry due to frustration. All right, all right. Thank you very much. I don't know if Martin then want to speak. Your microphone is on. If not, then we can move. Okay, it's all right. So thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your views. Ishmael, uh, Sir Prosper, and Abdul. Thank you very much for sharing your views. Right. So let's move on, and then we see how some of these concepts will come out in the presentation as we move on. But let's take note of this, that all emotions, and anger is an emotion, which we all appreciate. All emotions, including anger, are valid. So whether it is happiness, anger, whatsoever, so far as they are emotions, they are valid. Let us get that concept. All emotions, which include anger, are valid. However, how we respond to these emotions may not always be valid. I don't know if it is clear here. All emotions, which include anger, are valid to be expressed. However, how we respond to these emotions will not be valid at all times. I got some responses in the chat which were responding to the previous. Let me just take them and we move on very fast. Gloria Aram says, anger is a strong emotion of displeasure, while frustration is a feeling of annoyance and dissatisfaction. Yes, I also agree. And then Lydia Usua says frustration is mild irritation, while anger is more intense. Oh, wow. Thank you, Lydia. And Godwin Kuhn says anger is feeling of being treated unfairly. Okay. While frustration is feeling of being blocked from achieving an objective. Okay, good. I like these opinions. Thank you very much for sharing. So let us move on with that. All right. Now let's talk about the concept anger. So just as many of you has responded, Ishmael, and I think every other person, Prosper, Abdul, and everyone who responded earlier, it is well established that anger is very normal. Okay, anger is a normal, healthy emotion. It is neither good nor bad. So, just as Abdul said, at some point it is good and at some point it can be bad. It is how you process it. Okay. So, anger is a normal, healthy emotion, neither good nor bad. Like any emotion, it conveys a message telling you that the situation is upsetting, unjust, or threatening. So, like Mr. Prosper Megaji mentioned, so he getting angry is to let the person who is provoking him know that what they are doing to him he doesn't like. So the situation is sorry, upsetting, or it is unjust towards them, or it is threatening. So they get angry. If, however, if your knee-jerk reaction to anger is to explode, boom, like that. If your knee-jerk reaction to anger is to explode, however, that message never has a chance to be conveyed. Let's take these key things here. One, from the definition that we have. One, it is okay to be angry. As we said, it is a normal reaction. So if you're angry, doesn't mean you are not good. It is okay, it's an emotion. So it is okay to be angry. But if you're angry, do you hurt others through your reactions? So you are saying if you're angry, don't hurt others. If you're angry, don't hurt yourself. People be hurt themselves when they are angry. Is that a good way of expressing your anger? Some people, when they get angry, they end up destroying properties. Someone can crash their very expensive television. Just use something to hit it, bang, because they are angry. Somebody can even use their phone, hit on the ground, their laptop, everything, somersaulting almost everything around them because they were angry. So if you're angry and it is leading to some of these things, then that is not okay. So it is necessary we talk about how you feel when you're angry. It is okay to be angry, but if your anger is leading to hurting other people, hurting yourself, destroying properties, then that reaction is not okay. You can see some image over there, and I'm sure once people see it, the politicians here can relate what it entails. All because of anger. So, while it's perfectly normal to feel angry when you've been mistreated or wronged, anger becomes a problem when you express it in a way that harms yourself or others. Imagine, look at people throwing chairs here and there, hitting people. Because you are angry, you are hurting someone else. Some people even end up hurting themselves because of the anger they were expressing. You might think that venting your anger is healthy, that the people around you are too sensitive, that your anger is justified. Just as one of the contributors said, they want to let a person know that what they did is wrong. So you want to let them know that your anger is justified. Fine. Or that you need to show your fairy to get respected. You want to let them know that, hey, you can't talk to me like that. Do you, do you know who I am? But the truth is that anger is much more likely to have a negative impact on the way people see you. So just imagine if, let's take, if you are one of the people in the image here on this slide and you see yourself later, how will you feel about it? How will you have felt? So it is, or you seeing these people, what is going through your mind seeing people behave like this? There is someone who said the respect I have for you has come down and all those stuff. So the same way when you are reacting on anger, it is people who are seeing you. So you are saying that anger is much more likely to have a negative impact on the way people see you, the person expressing the anger, because it impairs your judgment and get in the way of how you want things to go successfully for you. So, as we said, anger is normal. How we react when we are angry should be looked at carefully. And that is why we are having this discussion this afternoon or this evening. So, if you have a hot temper, you may feel like it's out of your hands and there is little you can do to tame the beast. Someone said, for me, if my anger comes, I may be phone bar. You cannot contain me. If I'm angry, so there are people they have that notion that per how hot their blood is, if they become angry, they don't have control over how they manage it. So they just let the beast out like that. But we are saying this evening that, oh no, it is not really like that because you can really have control over your anger. If you put in some few strategies, you can really have a control over how you respond when you are angry. So you shouldn't just say that because I'm angry or that is how I am. My anger doesn't have boundaries. No. Some myth and fact about anger. So one myth is that I shouldn't hold in my anger. It's healthy to vent and let it out. So if you're angry, you shouldn't hold, like you just have to express it, because if you don't express it, you will not feel fine. So you shouldn't hold it. When you're angry, you must always express it. That's a myth, or that's a misconception. So the fact is that while it's true that suppressing and ignoring anger is unhealthy, venting is no better. Anger is not something you have to let out in an aggressive way in order to avoid blowing up. In fact, outbursts and tirades only fuel the fire and enforce your anger problem. So if you want to burst out, it rather escalates the whole situation. So saying that you see you shouldn't hold in or don't control your anger, it's that is really a misconception, because you rather end up making the whole situation worse. Because the more you react, the more the tempers keep rising. Another misconception is that anger, aggression, and intimidation help me earn respect and get what I want. No, respect doesn't come from bullying others. Respect doesn't come from bullying others. People may be afraid of you, yes, but they won't respect you if you can't control yourself or handle opposing viewpoints. Others will be more willing to listen to you and accommodate your needs if you communicate in a respectful way. You can be angry, all right, but how you communicate it can earn you that respect. But venting and lashing out getting aggressive, that would rather reduce the respect that
Stop, stop,
you wanted to
stop.
get.
I mean, I need to stop.
Another myth is that, or another misconception is, I can't help myself because anger isn't something you can control. We've already mentioned it at the beginning that it is really not so. Yes, you can't always control the situation you are in or how it makes you feel, but you can control how you express your anger. I think this is something that when we started the self-concept series, we've been repeating over and over again that it is true. You can't even control what people say about you. You can't control the situations that are going to happen, but you can really control how you express yourself, how you react to the situations, how you react to the people. So if you know how to react, you know that means you can control your reactions to the anger. So I'm taking that again. You can't always control the situations you are in or how it makes you feel, but you can control how you express your anger. And you can communicate your feelings without being verbally or physically abusive. Even if someone is pushing your buttons, you always have a choice about how to respond. So those of us who say that we should know how to control it. If I get angry, nobody can stand it. The areas you cover. Let's look at some possible causes of anger. So the causes vary from person to person, and of course from situation to situation. And let us also know that anger affects our body, and when you get angry, your body reacts or creates energy. So this is what happens. Adrenaline and other chemicals enter your brainstem. We'll look at that more details in the next slide. Your heart pumps faster, your blood flows more quickly, then your muscles start to tense. There's a diagram that will give us details in that. So let me pause there. Everyone gets angry sometimes. So, so far as you are humans and you have feelings, you have emotions, at a point you can get angry. It is allowed. But handling anger well can help you to overcome problems, reach your goals, stay healthy, feel better about yourself. But too much. So he said we are establishing that sometimes it's okay to get angry. However, but too much anger or uncontrolled anger can cause problems, such as problems in relationships, with family and friends, problems at work, legal and financial problems, physical and mental health problems, among others. Stress can equally be, so talking about the common causes. So we are identifying stress. So stress related to work, family, health, and money problems may make you feel anxious and irritable. Oh, sure. So when we go, we'll look at identifying. So as we are going, please be trying to be identifying where your source of anger may be coming from. Frustration. Somebody gave us a good definition for frustration when we started, where you feel there is something that is blocking you. So as the thing is blocking you, that is fueling. So the frustration will end up fueling you to become angry. So you may get angry if you fail to reach a goal or feel as if things are out of control, just as we had in the beginning when somebody responded to the questions. So that is frustration. So people get angry because they feel there's something that is blocking them, something that is preventing them from reaching their goals. And then they start fueling. Fear. Anger is a natural response to threat or violence, or to physical or verbal abuse. So fear can equally make somebody get angry or get upset. Annoyance. You may react to anger to minor irritations and daily hassles. Disappointment will definitely bring anger when expectations are not met as you expect. Resentment, you may feel angry when you've been hurt, or you feel rejected, or you feel offended. Another cause to sometimes is about how our thought patterns process or our thought patterns. So sometimes negative thought patterns can trigger the feeling of anger, such as over generalization, when we generalize everything, be the minutest thing that happens. Maybe somebody says, "Oh, your button didn't come well." It's like, they said my dress is not good. So, example, there's some words that shows you are over generalizing things. So it's like you always interrupt me. Maybe it was just once or twice somebody has interrupted you, but you generalize it and say that you always interrupt me. There, anger starts flowing from there. You never consider my needs, especially when it comes to love relationships. Generalize it, you never consider my needs. Maybe the person is doing or put in their efforts, but you may not see it. But you generalize it and say the person doesn't consider your needs. Everyone disrespects me. How many people do you even know in this world? There's everyone disrespects you. And is it true that everybody disrespects you? We generalize. So because you feel everybody disrespects you, you start having issues with almost everybody around you because you feel they don't respect you. I never get the credit I deserve. So you're always expecting people to be praising you. So once someone didn't praise you, like you feel, oh, I never get the credit I deserve. Obsessions over should and must. Having that rigid view of the way a situation should or must go, and getting angry when reality doesn't line up with this vision. So everything should be should, should, should. You should do this. You must always do this. I must always be here. I should have done this. When we are obsessed with some of these things and they don't go the way we expect, sometimes it fuels anger. Mind reading and jumping to conclusions, assuming you know what someone else is thinking or feeling, that they intentionally upset you. So you feel what they are doing, it's an intentional thing. They feel they've ignored your views, or you feel they've disrespected you. Even you not even make them finish talking, then you conclude, this is what it is. Blaming. When anything bad happens or something goes wrong, it's always someone's fault. We always tend to blame people for it. Sometimes we tell ourselves that life is not fair, or blame others for your problems rather than taking responsibility for your own life. Some of these things will definitely be fueling anger in us. So as I said, as we are going on, be picking, and I'm sure anger is something that affects everybody. So we can't say yes, a perfect person that doesn't get angry. But let us know the sources of our anger. Once we get to know how it will help us know how to manage it. Because as we are going, we'll have questions asking what are your triggers. So like this diagram is explaining. So the one on the left, the negative thoughts, and then we have that of the positive thought. It's a cycle. So talking about, so there's a situation, not an event, when there is the team not meeting a professional goal. So like you work in a group and you realize that the objective you set for yourself, it's like the team is not meeting it. And somebody with the negative way of thinking, how do they think? So this person will think these people are all idiots. They cannot these people, you've all gone to school, you are sitting in this office, and you cannot come up with a better way of doing this thing. So the people here are all like this. So that's how the person thinks. So once the person thinks like that, it affects their emotions. So they start feeling angry at almost everybody in the team. Frustrations keep coming, irritability still keeps coming. And those feelings will now lead to their behavior. Then you start to argue with almost everybody in the team. Glare up, flare up, take fights, insults, and all sorts of things. So the cycle continues like that. Because of just the way we think about something, it affects the whole cycle. So let's look at the component, which is a positive with the same event. The team is not meeting their professional goal. Like you'll be given a task, but you're not able to meet it. So the person with a positive way of thinking will say, everybody here is on the same team. We are all just doing our best. Yes, we all have the same degrees, everything. You are trying. It is the thing that is not coming. You are doing your best before. Not that you are all just idiots, as the previous example gave. But at least appreciate that. Appreciate the effort of everyone. So if you think this way, the emotions that come, yes, frustration, as someone said, frustration is about the feeling of something blocking your view or blocking your progress. Yeah, so that innermost feeling, what exactly is the reason for we not getting or achieving our objective? So that frustration is there, all right, but tolerance comes in and you tend to understand your people because you are all trying. And if you do it, if you tolerate your people and understand them, it reflects in your behavior, where you tend to listen to what your colleagues say and provide constructive feedbacks rather than lashing out everybody, forgetting that you're also part of that team. So far as you are part of the team and the objective is not being met, you are part of the problem. So don't isolate yourself and blame others. So we take responsibilities for the situations in which we are and fix it than blame people. So the positive behaviors will lead to more positive thoughts. And that will lead to a positive cycle. That cycle continues. The negative one too, it continues like that. So the way we think or see things affect the way we react. So talking about how this whole nervous system thing works. So if there's that angry provoking situation or person, so the nervous system dysregulation occurs when your body becomes overwhelmed by stress or negative emotion. In the case of anger, this can result in getting stuck in flight response. So when you are confronted with something that actually gets you upset, so you have when you are angry. Basically, these various things here, you don't see them because in the beginning we established that our reactions are mostly seen by people than we ourselves. So you realize that when you are angry and you are not you don't pay attention to yourself, you start to raise your voice, swearing or insulting others, becoming passively aggressive, passing comments. Sometimes people, because of the muscle tensions that come, see people clench fists. Sometimes there is this shakiness in the whole body. These are nervous reactions. Frowning or scrolling, clenched jaws. Sometimes some people they find it even difficult to speak. When they are angry, they will start stammering. When they are angry, then physically lashing out almost everything and anybody around them. Sweating profusely or excessively. Rapid heart beat and breathing. These are nervous things that happen. So when these things are going on and it is not controlled continuous, it have effect on us. So let's be aware of the cycle. It's like a whole cycle on its own. So starting from the trigger event, what is making you get triggered? If how you process it, the thought you are giving to it, if it is negative, it reflects in the response you give. It comes with the physical symptoms and your behavior that comes. And if it is positive, it goes in that cycle and the cycle flows. So you being able to control it is what will break the cycle. So let us be aware of the anger cycle, starting from the anger provoking stimulus to how we process it, how what we feel, and then our responses to it. What are some of the health effects of anger? When we are angry, looking at how the nervous system is displaying all those stuffs, what becomes some of the health effects? You become anxious. Anger will lead to anxiety because you are not certain on what's even is next. When you can attest to it that when you're angry, sometimes you go and check your blood pressure that is it's on the rise, and that continuous reactions can lead to heart diseases. You keep anger and go to bed and you can't sleep. So sleep disturbances can come in. Chronic anger can lessen your lifespan. Because if your heart is always under pressure, your lifespan will definitely be shortened. So let's know that anger can shorten our lifespan. Heart diseases or respiratory diseases also come. There are people when they're angry, they don't eat. They can't even eat because no appetite. They don't even feel hungry when they're angry. However, there are others too who tend to be eating more and eating more junk food when they are angry. And continuous practicing that can lead you to eating disorders. Sometimes, look, some people can be so angry to the extent that they can develop stroke out of it. Our immune systems can break down when we are angry. And of course, depression is also there. So these are some health effects of anger. So when you take depression, for instance, anger that is kept bottled up and affect your thoughts and feelings. You may begin to feel unhappy and lose interest in things you used to enjoy, such as your hobbies, your work, friends, etc. Problem at work. So if you blow up on the job, co-workers, supervisors, and customers may develop a negative impression of you. Because as we say that there are people watching, because you may think what you are doing is justified. You want to let him know that what they are doing is wrong. So you end up flying up. Is the other people that are seeing that no, this man's behavior is unbecoming, but you think it's justified. So think of that reaction when you are at the office, when you are among people that you want to prove your point and you are acting that way, if it is rather going to be beneficial to you or not. And this may affect your career because you always want to prove that you are right and other people are wrong. People may not be able to work with you and it affects your career. It can affect how we keep our relationship. So anger can cause lasting scars in the people you love most and get in the way of friendship and relationships. Explosive anger makes it hard for others to trust you, speak honestly, or feel comfortable. And it's especially damaging to children. Let's exploring your emotions for anger management. So we are changing our geared to look at managing this concept anger. So we have to first explore the emotions that are fueling out, are bringing out the anger. But we should also know that anger is mostly or often a secondary emotion that arises when you feel vulnerable. So it is not a primary emotion, it is always a secondary emotion. Something brings it up. So that's why we, at the beginning, are asking the difference between anger and frustration. So the frustration becomes a primary, and then the anger becomes a secondary thing. So something is beneath the expression of the anger. So emotions like hate, fear, sadness, or shame can leave you feeling exposed or powerless. And anger can emerge as a defense against these uncomfortable feelings. So you see, the anger, so we are establishing the fact that anger is mostly a secondary thing. So all these emotions will fuel it. So it can provide a sense of control or strength in situations where you might otherwise feel overwhelmed or insecure. So we see this iceberg like this. Mostly, so if even if you want to talk about managing anger, sometimes the immediate emotions we are feeling may be having a deeper root, which is hidden down the ocean. But we mostly just see the surface and feel that. So when we are not careful, we just end up uh, pointing at the frustration, the aggression, the irritation, and say those are the things that are fueling the anger. But they may be deep-seated emotions. So those ones, the ones we mostly talk about frustration. This frustration will lead you to getting angry, sorry, aggression, irritability, outburst, yelling. But what is behind those emotions? Sometimes it can be hurt. Somebody is feeling so hurt within, but the hurt may not necessarily be with the person they're having the issues with. But that hurt may be making everything around them feel irritable. Almost everybody pisses them off. So that deep-seated emotion, which is a hurt, or the feeling of betrayal or disrespect from someone else, is what is fueling the current emotion, and then the response being the anger. Sometimes the deep-seated emotion may be the fear. Maybe there's some fear from something where the person is really not paying attention to that. This could be what is causing this emotion to happen. Sadness, feeling disappointed, or experiencing loneliness. So this person says he's feeling so lonely, and you come to the website and you want to put another issues on him or her. That will bring some anger outburst, and then the reactions will follow from there. Insecurity, rejection, jealousy, frustration, feeling overwhelmed, shame, guilt, embarrassment, or feeling inadequate and unworthy. All these emotions can be the root cause, which our attention may not go. So, to be able to help somebody manage an anger situation, it is good we are able to dig down, dig down, and see the hidden emotions that are there that are causing the secondary reaction, which is the anger. So you can see that there are only few of these emotions on top of the iceberg, but the vast of it are below it. So you have to dig further to know what exactly is causing the anger. So that brings us to we having to understand the triggers to our anger. So we are saying a trigger is any situation, event, or thought that initiates feelings of anger. These triggers can be external, such as specific places or social situations, or internal, such as particular thoughts or memories. Identifying your anger triggers involves paying close attention to the situations that make you feel angry, as well as the physical symptoms, thoughts, and emotions that accompany these situations. By becoming aware of your triggers, you can anticipate and prepare for them, reducing their impact on your life and relationships. So we are zooming in to understand what triggers our anger. If you're able to know what triggers you, there you know how to prepare yourself and manage it or control it. But if you don't know the triggers, that is where you end up reacting in unhealthy ways that you yourself you are unconscious of. You finish up before it's like, oh, I didn't do it too well. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody say, oh, I overreacted. I was carried out. Or I was carried away. Who carried you away? You carried yourself away. So when we understand the emotions or what causes our anger, it helps us to control it. So these are some questions that you can ask yourself. So what sets you off? Among these things, what sets you off? There's a different things trigger a person's anger. Some common triggers are listed below. Check. So with this one, you may just, you're not going to go through all of them, but these are possible questions you can ask yourself. So if you are angry, so the question is, if I feel angry when then you pick. So looking at the options there, when you feel angry, what do you do? When I feel angry, when I feel, sorry, I feel angry when one, I think I am treated unfairly, when I'm embarrassed, feel ignored. So which of them? Don't get credit for something I've done, have to follow others, fail at something or don't do something well, feel helpless or out of control, get jealous. So these are just a few. So you have the option for you to add on when you are angry and what makes you feel angry. This Doing this helps you to take inventory of your triggers. The second one says, I feel angry when people, so this is about you. The first one is about you. The second is about people. I feel angry when people, one, insult me, criticize me or my work, don't listen to me, or disagree with me, don't work as hard as I do. So you think they leave all your work, the workload on you. When people lie to you, tell you what to do, when people are rude or inconsiderate, when people are late, don't act or feel the way I think they should. So like they should a normal statement. Then we talk about you, about people, and then the situations. I feel angry when faced with these events or situations, traffic jams and encounters with other drivers. Someone like us, that's why we say we don't want Accra because Accra is full of traffic. And traffic like that, they are feeling irritated. So some situations can be that conflict at work. You don't feel comfortable when there's conflict at work. So you get angry when these things are happening. When there are family arguments, child misbehave, or their misbehavior or their temper tantrums. There are some people they can't see children do those things, like it puts them off. That's why they will end up beating the child mercilessly. So if you identify it, if that is what causes you anger, take note of it. As when we go through the processes, it will help yourself in managing it. Waiting in lines at the bank stores, if you are going to buy food, especially you are going to buy food from these food vendors, and one person is buying plenty whilst you are waiting. Sometimes it can be irritating when there are financial problems, yelling or loud noise, mistakes or errors. When people do mistakes or their errors, you end up getting angry, sometimes even your own mistakes. When people waste your time, losing a game or a contest, name calling or teasing, people don't just like those things. Child abuse, prejudice toward anyone, mistreatment of animals. So these are just a few that you can take stock of and see which of them make you get angry, or in which of these situations do you get angry. So you are saying now, once you are aware of things that set you off, now you can work to change the way you respond to them. But if you don't know the things that set you up or set you off, then what are you going to work on now? You say you are going to manage anger, but I don't know what triggers your anger. Then we can't actually fix it. So to fix it, you must first know what is bringing it on. So this is also a help or a guide to help you identify your triggers. Okay, these are practical ways that can help us to identify your triggers. So list a situation where you commonly feel angry and describe the associated symptoms that or thought that comes with it. So you have these three boxes here: the situation, the location, people involved, then the before and after. So to be able to identify your triggers, first, let's look at the situation. What situation came up that you got angry? So these are examples. So I was interrupted in that particular situation. At where? At the kitchen or in the house? Which people were around or which people were involved? Your spouse and children. So this is helping you to be able to identify the triggers, okay? So that's the first thing. Identify the situation. So describe the situation, where it happened, people that were involved. Now, the before. What were you feeling physically? So before the situation that got you angry, before it happened, what were you feeling physically? Heart racing, clenched jaw, clenched fist, flashed faces, shaky. When the situation happened, these things were happening to the person. Then after, what happened? After you've done what you should do angrily, what happened? Oh, now your heart rate slows down or returns to normal, drained, or you feel fatigued after doing all the gymnastics that you have to do. Then what were you thinking about at the time of the whole thing?
It's okay.
These are examples.
It's okay. Hello, it's okay. It's okay. Let's leave this.
What were you thinking about? What what was going through your mind at the time? So examples could be: no one in the house respects me. They never listen to me. I'm not going to let them get away with this. Then after the reactions, what thoughts did you have? Then you're now feeling you're a bad person. These are examples. So to take your own stock, this is a sample for you to help you identify your triggers. Where you put in all this, you respond to all these questions. Then before, how did you feel emotionally? Angry, frustrated, irritated. Then after the whole uh, reaction, how did you feel? You felt embarrassed about yelling at my family, frustrated, and the likes. So we are trying to identify the triggers. Then let's also do what we call the reality check. This can also help you identify your triggers. To give yourself a reality check, when you start getting upset about something, take a moment to think about the situation. Ask yourself these questions. One, how important is it in the grand scheme of things? What, like the things I did, or the situation, or what they're talking about? How important is it that is to get me angry? Is it really worth getting angry about this thing? Because first you now thought of the importance of the situation or the event or what the person has said towards you. Is it really worth getting angry about? Is it worth ruining the rest of my day? Some people, when you get angry, can take the whole day, like the whole day will just mess up for you. So that anger, is it worth ruining the rest of your day? Is my response appropriate to that situation? How you are responding to it, do you think it's appropriate? Is there anything you can do about it? Is taking action worth my time? So we can subject ourselves to some of these checks to see if the situation that is making us provoked, getting angry, is worth reacting the way we reacted. So when you take this, when you do the trigger identity and do some of the practical examples we had at the top, you can pass through some of these processes to help you. Then you now develop coping strategies. Develop coping strategies, but I'll skip this. I'll come back to it. These are some basic tips that it can equally help, that can help us manage our anger. We can apologize. Apologizing doesn't make you weak. Doesn't show that you are weak. Saying sorry doesn't make you are weak. So we can learn to say sorry. Sometimes even if you are really not at fault, but to get, because if you react, at the end of the day, you'll be seen to be like not reacting well. Sometimes you can just choose to walk away from the whole situation. Engaging with your family. I think when we were dealing with assertiveness training, we also mentioned that communicating, we should use the I message instead of you. So I don't like what you are doing. I am uncomfortable with what you're asking me to do. You can tell the people to stop. Or whoever is provoking you, tell them to stop. Sometimes you can also do the count to 10 to cool off. So as you realize that the frustration is getting severe and the anger is coming, you just hold yourself, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and count 1, 2, 3 up to 10. And breathe out, breathe in, breathe out again. Some people may want to play some games or share and take turns in certain things that they do. One concept that can help us manage our anger is forgiveness. Forgiveness. The concept forgiveness is very important in anger management. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is the voluntary decision. So let's take note of it. It's a voluntary decision. It's a personal decision. Something that you willingly want to do. So it's a voluntary decision to let go of resentment and anger towards someone who has wronged you. Freeing yourself from the negative impact of their actions. We are talking about forgiveness. So if you forgive, you free yourself from the negative impact of their behavior towards you. Because if you react, the consequences may not be good. Now, forgiveness does not mean you are condoning the offense the person has actually done or committed. It is not about you forgetting what happened. So people say that once you've forgiven a person, you forget. You can really not forget. You definitely know that this person has ever done this thing to me before. However, the emotions that come with it when you remember is what makes the difference. If you remember and still feel hurt, then you're not forgiving the person. And then forgiving also doesn't necessarily mean that you should reconcile with the offender. No. So if I say I'm forgiving you, that means that everything, the relationship get back completely. No, you can forgive the person. Yeah, next time you know how to manage things, your choice of words and things. Now you know how the person reacts. So it doesn't mean that you reconcile completely with the person. I'm forgiving you. Whatever. If you ask me something, I'll respond. But we may not be the way we were before. It's okay, it is normal. So forgiveness is a personal choice that can improve your mental well-being by reducing stress, anxiety, and depression, ultimately allowing you to heal and move forward. So it is about you healing, not about a person. So forgiveness is, you are doing it about you, not ensuring that you are not jailing yourself for someone else's troubles. Because if you keep the malice within you and it is eating you up like that, maybe the person is moving out freely and you are having those things that is causing you some of those heart issues. Your BP is dysregulating. You're having sleep problems. You can't eat. You're becoming depressed and all those stuff. So if you forgive, it only allows you to heal and move forward. So forgiving the person who has wronged you is an important step towards letting go of those angry thoughts. Forgiveness means deciding to let go of the anger and the desire for revenge. So you have decided to let go of the anger and the desire for revenge. It means replacing those negative emotions with more positive emotions. So forgiveness plays a key role when it comes to anger management. Now, let me go back to the slide I skipped. So these are some coping strategies that you can try when you realize that the muscles are being tense like that, you feel the whole tension in you, you can adopt some of these things to help you relax. So by learning these coping mechanisms, it helps you to manage your anxieties. But this is more practical. So I'll show you a YouTube video of one basic progressive muscle relaxation that you can do. So I'm going to stop sharing and then share the other one. All right. So this is a progressive muscle relaxation that you can follow to help you relax. It's only 3 minutes, 4 seconds. So I want you to pay attention to it. After, you can follow the processes too. Okay, you can follow the processes to help you learn how to relax. So progressive muscle relaxation is one of the relaxation exercises that helps us to feel relaxed. So when you are angry at that thing, it's like the whole system is tensed up, you can adopt doing it.
Stress is a necessary part of life. Learning how to deal with stress is a necessary part of life. Everyone deals with stress differently, so finding what works for you is important. Ready to try progressive muscle relaxation? We'll walk you through this easy, stress-relieving activity. Progressive muscle relaxation helps you relax your mind, relax your body, reduce tension, focus your mind, and calm you down. Here's how it works. Tense each muscle group. Hold the tension for 5 seconds. Release the tension. Feel the muscle relax. Try to visualize the muscle tensing and relaxing. Remember to keep breathing deeply through the exercise. Try to focus. Bring it back to the muscle you are working on. Let's start with your head. Close and tighten your eyes. Tense all muscles in your cheeks. Tighten all the muscles around your lips. And press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Now your shoulders, chest, and back. Raise your shoulders to your ears. Tense your back by pulling your shoulders back. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. On to your hands, fingers, and arms. Bend your wrist and tighten your hands into your fist. Flex your biceps. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Now for your belly. Pull your belly button in and tense all the muscles in your stomach. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Moving on to your legs and your feet. Tighten your thighs by pressing your knees together. Pull your toes towards you and feel the tension in your calves, thighs, and feet. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Breathe deeply and imagine a peaceful sensation flowing from your head, down your neck, into your chest, legs, and settling into the soles of your feet. Repeat this process when necessary until you feel calm and peaceful.
All right, thank you. So, this is progressive muscle relaxation. I don't know, maybe some people may want to practice it right now. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to restart the video, but before that, you have to get yourself seated comfortably. Get a comfortable place to sit. You've seen the process that is involved. So when it starts, you follow and try to do the breathing in tension of the muscles just as instructed. When it is done, I'll ask you your feedbacks, then we continue from there. So I'm going to start it again, but I want to believe by now you are seated comfortably at a place that will not be distracted. We are going to take it one more time. Just follow it quietly and tell me your feedback afterwards.
Every part of life. Everyone deals with stress differently, so finding what works for you is important. Ready to try progressive muscle relaxation? We'll walk you through this easy, stress-relieving activity. Progressive muscle relaxation helps you relax your mind, relax your body, reduce tension, focus your mind, and calm you down. Here's how it works. Tense each muscle group. Hold the tension for 5 seconds. Release the tension. Feel the muscle relax. Try to visualize the muscle tensing and relaxing. Remember to keep breathing deeply through the exercise. Try to focus hard on each step. If your mind begins to wander, bring it back to the muscle you are working on. Let's start with your head. Close and tighten your eyes. Tense all muscles in your cheeks. Tighten all the muscles around your lips. And press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Now your shoulders, chest, and back. Raise your shoulders to your ears. Tense your back by pulling your shoulders back. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. On to your hands, fingers, and arms. Bend your wrist and tighten your hands into your fist. Flex your biceps. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Now for your belly. Pull your belly button in and tense all the muscles in your stomach. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Moving on to your legs and your feet. Tighten your thighs by pressing your knees together. Pull your toes towards you and feel the tension in your calves, thighs, and feet. Hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quickly release and relax. Breathe deeply and imagine a peaceful sensation flowing from your head, down your neck, into your chest, legs, and settling into the soles of your feet. Repeat this process when necessary until you feel calm and peaceful.
All right, thank you. Yes, so that is progressive muscle relaxation that can help you to relax. So it's a coping. Someone mentioned in the chat box that they don't understand uh, the video. So it's a coping mechanism to help you to manage anger. It's also good in managing stress if you are stressed out. So it's a muscle relaxation exercise when you feel so tensed up and you are not able to concentrate, you can do that. Last week, we went through the 5-4-3-2 method, which can also help you get grounded. So I'll just mention it, but I wouldn't do it. So when you see yourself angry or getting angry and realize that your mind starts wandering all over, you can consider the grounding technique. We call it the 5-4-3-2 method. So this is how it works. Just sit comfortably. Identify 5 things you can see. So in your environment, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear. So as you are identifying them, you are taking notice of them. 2 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you can taste. We demonstrated this last week where someone volunteered to go through the process. Then another way to also help yourself to cope, ask yourself if your anger is based on facts or assumptions. Are you just assuming and getting angry based like the cognitive issues we looked at? So you are saying that look for evidence that supports or contradict these thoughts and consider more balanced and realistic perspectives. Remind yourself that it's okay to be angry. It's not okay to lash out and say things that hurt others. You can take inventory of your thoughts. So keep a journal to document your angry thoughts. Writing them down can help you analyze and understand their patterns and triggers, making it easier to manage them over time. Gradually tense and then relax what you just did. Different muscle groups in your body from head to toe to release physical tension and promote relaxation. Then also try to use positive affirmations to counter angry thoughts and affirm your ability to handle challenges. Create a list of positive qualities of the people who anger you the most or get you angry the most. Review the list whenever anger arises to remind yourself that everyone has strengths and challenges. No one is all bad. So these are some basic things you can do to help cope with anger. Then also knowing your boundaries or setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is also important in managing anger. So you're saying that setting boundaries is a powerful way to manage anger by creating clear limits that protects your emotional well-being. When you establish and communicate your boundaries, you can prevent situations that trigger frustration or resentment. So this is a practical way of how we can create these boundaries to help us manage our anger. So so you can see there are two cycles here or circles here. You have the inner and then the outer cycle. So in the outer cycle, let's start from the inner cycle. In the inner cycle, you are writing everything that makes you feel relaxed and calm. So everybody with their own cycle, okay? So you first draw an inner cycle, then everything that makes you relax when you are angry. So we are doing this thing when you are angry. What makes you relax? What makes you calm? Even in days that you are not angry, what makes you relax? What makes you calm? So you try to identify those things and put in the inner cycle. So these are some examples or someone's example. So in the inner cycle, you have following a morning routine that includes 10 minutes of meditation and a cup of herbal tea makes them calm and relaxed. That is a person. Meeting up with a friend or weekly coffee dates, being at home with my pets or cats. Every Sunday evening, I set aside an hour for relaxation bath. That's the person's inner cycle. So you can also get your own inner cycle. We are trying to set boundaries over here. So things that makes you feel relaxed and calm, you get them there. Then the outside or the outer cycle, what do we put there? On the outer cycle, outside of the cycle, write down anything or anyone that makes you feel stressed, irritable, or angry. So anyone, so maybe you can look at the people around you who makes you angry, what situations make you angry. So you identify them and put in the outer cycle. So these are people or situations that are pushing your boundaries and need further attention. So if you're able to, it's all part of identifying your triggers. So now that you're able to know the things that affect you emotionally, the people that affect you emotionally, or situations that affect you emotionally, knowing that they are the things that are making the cycle broaden, then you now pay attention to them. How do I handle these people? But the most important is you are the one inside. The other ones are the things, the environmental, the societal issues that are around you. And we made mention that we can actually not control the situations that happen. We can't control what people say. There's some events we can't control them, or there are some situations we can't control them. But we can control how we react, how we respond to those things. So our attention should be on the inner cycle, the things in the inner, the things that makes us feel relaxed, calm. Those are things that you have control over. The ones outside, you don't have control over them. So anytime you see yourself getting upset, just remember your inner cycle or the cycle, the things that are with the things that make you calm. Quickly apply them to yourself. So this is also one way that we can help manage our anger. The same way with the managing of boundaries, you can also use this chart to also help you as well. So how to communicate your boundaries. Now you've identified your outer circle. How then do you communicate it? So we are saying these are some rules here. So use confident body language when communicating. Stand or sit up straight, maintain eye contact, and use firm but calm gestures to convey confidence and assertiveness. We mentioned that being assertive doesn't mean raising your voice. And then you equally have the right to say your mind. So let us speak confidently. Be clear and set consequences. Be specific about what behavior you want to change and clearly state what will happen if your boundary is not respected. Keep your tone calm and respectful. Speak calmly and assertively, avoiding raising voices and aggressive tones to maintain a respectful atmosphere. Practice active listening. Practice active listening. Listen to the other person's response without interrupting and acknowledge their perspective while staying firm on your boundaries. Then, so you can now set your physical boundaries, your emotional boundaries, and then your interpersonal boundaries. So these are some examples that you can consider in setting your physical boundaries. So that is in communicating for people to respect your boundaries. So the physical boundaries. So you can use like, please give me some physical space. I am not comfortable with being touched right now. I need to step away for a moment. I prefer to keep a bit of distance. Thank you. I would appreciate it if you didn't stand so close. So what you don't like, you create your physical boundaries and communicate it clearly to the people around you. The emotional ones too, you should be able to communicate it. I feel overwhelmed and need to take a break from this conversation. So maybe there's a conversation that is upsetting you. Whereas I know if I should continue in this conversation, you have the right to excuse yourself for a time. You can also speak that you are not comfortable discussing this right now. I appreciate your concern, but I need some time to process my feelings alone. Please respect my feelings on this matter. These are assertive ways of communicating. And then interpersonal boundaries. I feel uncomfortable with this behavior and need it to stop. I need you to respect my decisions. I am not okay with how you spoke to me. Please do not involve me in this situation. I need clarity and honesty in our communication. So these are some boundaries you can equally set for yourself. They have the stop skill. So the stop is when you realize the thing is getting you angry, when you notice that you are feeling angry about to react impulsively, just stop or pause immediately and maybe draw back. So stop, take a step back. That's the second one. Physically and mentally take a step back from the situation. This could mean leaving the room, taking a deep breath, or simply pushing your actions and thoughts. Then observe. Observe what is happening inside and around you without judgment. Pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations, as well as what others are doing and saying. Then you proceed mindfully. So after you've taken a moment to stop, step back, and observe, proceed mindfully, make a conscious choice about how to respond rather than reacting impulsively out of anger. So the stop process or scale is also there that we can use to help. So once the whole situation is getting you irritated, first stop. Don't act impulsively by lashing out or doing anything. Stop, take a step back, observe the situation, and then you make your decision. You can also practice gratitude. Gratitude also helps us in managing our anger. Let us appreciate the little progress we make about ourselves and then what people also do for us. Let us learn to practice gratitude. So we can also develop this weekly or daily gratitude list, and the things that you are grateful for in a day, you put them to be uh, documenting them so that uh, you be seeing the positive aspect of life rather than the negatives. Avoid negative reactions such as not letting go. Some people, once they're angry, like for until they're able to do you something, they are not fine. So you may have trouble getting past anger. You may remember painful events that occurred long ago. As time goes by, your anger may continue to grow. You may become obsessed with angry thoughts, hopes of revenge, keeping it bottled up, blaming, you mentioned of this one, blaming people. So blaming others doesn't solve the problems. You need to learn to take responsibilities for your own feelings and actions, both positive and negative. They're responding to anger with anger. It's also not the best. Somebody is angry and then you're also adding on to the anger. This may make things flare up. It's also important that we should know that we don't use alcohol to say that we are resolving anger. So alcohol or other drug use may increase the anger rather than helping you calm down. So using alcohol or other drugs to dull anger doesn't work. These substances may mask angry feelings, but only for a short time, and they often bring the opposite result. Alcohol and other drugs play a major role in many cases of violence. You shouldn't use alcohol or other drugs as an excuse for angry or violent behavior. The truth is, there is no excuse for losing control in this way. Then you can also subject yourself to treatment. If you realize your level of anger is becoming too much, you can see a therapist to help you manage your anger. We've done the master relaxation. Also, you should be able to develop some hobbies for yourself. Have a sense of humor. So for many people, having a good sense of humor helps them avoid getting angry. So try to find the humor in minor troubles and annoyances. Write about your feelings. So create situations that will make you laugh, smile with people than the ones that will keep you bitter within. So there's one image here. He said, life is so easy, or life is so much easier with a sense of humor. And it is true. Then visualization. This is also one of the visualization techniques that you can use. So this technique uses your imagination to help you relax and reduce your anger. So these are some steps you can use. You have to sit in a comfortable chair or lie down. Then this one is based on your mind or imagination. So imagine a pleasant, peaceful scene, such as a large forest, a sandy beach. Even it can even be your birthday, the things that will happen on your birthday, on your wedding day. So you just try to take your mind back to those beautiful memories as you are lying down or you are sitting comfortably. Then be visualizing those beautiful memories and then focus on the scene. Continue until you feel refreshed and relaxed. Sometimes you can have these relaxing music in the background as you visualize and practice some of these things properly, then you repeat it. You keep repeating it. It's also a form of getting you calm when you're angry. Then, lastly, get plenty rest. Most people need about 6 to 9 hours of sleep each day. When you are angry, you may have trouble falling asleep. Intense, this lack of sleep may leave you feeling more irritable. If you have trouble sleeping, go to bed at the same time each night. Wake up at the same time each morning. Read or watch good movies or TV shows, anything that will make you feel relaxed. And connect with friends. Connect with friends and families. Go on holidays. Take a break. All these things can be helpful to help us regulate our emotions. So, to end, I'll remind you back of one of the scriptures we read when we started. And it says that's Ephesians chapter 4, 26 to 27. It says, in your anger, do not sin. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. And do not give the devil a foothold or a chance to operate in you. So, brothers and sisters, let us manage our anger. We mentioned that it is normal to be angry, but our way of responding is very necessary. So I want to thank you all for your time, and I'm open for comments, questions, and any contributions. Thank you. If you have any question, you can please unmute and speak, or raise your hand and you'll be called. Thank you. Madam Gloria, in the chat box, I hope you got the clarity on the slide, because you said you were not sure. No, it is rather Musa who said that I'm not clear with this slide. Maybe if you can ask a question on the slide you're not clear on, it will help us. Unless you are okay now. Gloria, yes, you can reach out to me. I'll share with you. Deborah says thanks for the presentation. Yes, Madam Deborah, I see you. Priscilla says setting boundaries is hard because people fear the consequences. How do you practice setting healthy boundaries? Yes, so learning to be assertive helps you to set these boundaries as well. Okay, but as we are saying, if you should look at some of the practical means we outlined here. So the boundaries comes in the physical, the emotional, and then the interpersonal boundaries over here. Then things using the cycle, things you have control over and things you don't have control over. Okay, so in the inner cycle, you can put in the situations that you have control over, things that makes you feel calm and then relaxed. However, when it comes to the outer cycle, those are situations that sometimes you don't have control over. But so once you get to know about them, you find your ways of communicating them. However, the person who asked the question, I may want you to visit our lecture on assertiveness training. I'm sure it will help you know how to communicate even these boundaries, knowing where to say no when you are not comfortable with something. Yes, it helps you to get these things, and then also develop your confidence level as well. So I think if you were not with us in the previous lessons, we discussed those things into detail. But yes, we all need to set healthy boundaries for ourselves. So just consider some of these techniques and try them. And I'm sure But if someone have any contribution to that, to her question, please, you can also contribute to the conversation. So she's saying that how do we practice setting healthy boundaries? Because sometimes setting boundaries is hard because many people fear the consequences. If you have any contribution, you can. But let's remember that setting these boundaries is about you feeling good, and then not putting up scenes that people will end up talking about. So it's about you, what to make you comfortable. That's what they're talking about. Uh, Malik, you can speak to us.
Okay, please, my question is, when you said that we'll be writing the things that makes us feel relaxed in the center, yes, the inner cycle, then the outer cycle is for what makes you angry. What if you're writing about the person that's making you angry and unfortunately the person sees it? Like, do you have to?
So this is a
What do you
personal
do?
inventory. Okay. This is a personal
Okay.
inventory. This is about you. It is not something that you are doing to on display or something like that. But however, this is what you think makes you angry, because right now what you are looking at is to manage your anger. You want to, from henceforth, know how to control how you get angry. And you've been able to identify that this person is part of the things that gets me angry. So you've listed them in your outer cycle. So now how do I engage these people? How do I engage this person going forward? Please, are we getting it? So it is not that
Yes.
you are saying this person is bad or not, but this is the person that provokes you mostly. So you are now trying to develop means of managing with this person that will not escalate situations this time around.
Yes, I get you now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very
But
much.
if there are any other contributions, we are still open for
Okay.
further contribution. Yes, Martin. Martin, please, you can speak to us.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Mine is a follow-up question to what you have recently responded to. In a situation, some people, they intentionally do things to make you angry. And such people, you try to avoid them in order to be in your comfort zone. But they, because of the intention they have behind, they will continue doing what makes you angry. In such situation, how can you tend to manage this kind of anger?
Okay, so one question
Thank you.
I'll ask back is, one, what is the evidence behind your assertion that this person is intentionally doing these things just to provoke me? That's one question you may want to respond to. Is this person even conscious? Does this person know that what they are doing has upset you? So that is where you are to communicate. You have to communicate to this person, letting them know that this thing doesn't, or I'm not okay with the way they are handling you, or the things they do to you are not okay. So talking about it, letting the person know that this way of how you behave towards me, I don't like it. And it's part of the boundary setting. So when you see the cycle,
Okay.
when you see the yes, so when you see the boundary settings we have over here about the physical boundary, the example is that if you realize a person is doing things you don't like, which is affecting your physical space, it is about you communicating to them. And then they're saying that when communicating, be clear and set consequences. So if you continue to do this thing towards me, this is what I'll end up doing. So you've communicated clearly and the consequences to the person. So you're saying that be specific about what behavior you want to change and clearly state what will happen if your boundary is not respected. So if you do this thing to me the next time, this is what I will do. So you've communicated clearly to the person that I will do this. And be confident in speaking. So somebody mentioned that when you're communicating, you're scared of the consequences that will happen. We should be clear and confident in what we are saying and speak assertively. When you are communicating to the person, you are saying that it is not necessary for you raising your tone, shouting when speaking. Keep your composure. Communicate clearly to the person that I don't like. Maybe the person do touch you in ways you don't like. So you let the person know that I'm not comfortable with how you touch me. The next time you touch me like this, I will report you to these authorities. These are consequences. And the person does that, and you report. So that one, the person can say that you were bad to them because you've clearly stated what you would do to the person. So let us clearly set our physical boundaries. Things that get us irritated, that's the emotional boundaries too. What are the things that affect you emotionally? You communicate that. And at the same time, the interpersonal boundaries should also be communicated clearly. So I'm sure the communication helps. So if the person keeps provoking you, the consequences of what that person is doing, you just met it out to the person. So if it is about terminating that particular relationship, maybe if it is a friend who is doing something you don't like, you keep saying it, I don't like this, and the person keeps provoking you. One of the steps we also realize is that sometimes you can just take a walk away. You don't entertain the people. So walking away from the scene can also be helpful. So that is what I may want to say, but I still leave it open for other members to contribute or share their views on the questions. Um, Esiawonam says in the chat box, says sometimes our colleagues do get on our nerves at work, especially when you are the leader. It's difficult, but with this teaching, I've learned a lot. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, Esiawonam. Salom, I don't know if you want to speak with us. Your mic is on. Hello, Salom. Okay, I guess it's a mistake. Sure. Okay, so Deborah says, I would like to have a clarification on those who get angry and beat others. Talking about intimate partner abuse. What can we do about this? Well, I think with that, it will need further attention. So, because we have to know what goes into the abuse, uh, are you the one being the provoker here, or you are the provoked? I think we'll have to go into it. Is this something we are not also doing well? We may have to go into it to get how best to go about this. However, getting angry and physically assaulting someone is a no, no, no. So you have to equally uh, put in measures that, and this thing is based on it being a partner. That's why we have to look at it carefully. so that we do not say things that wouldn't be helpful. So I will encourage, maybe you see a therapist, or we talk later after this call, or you see your marriage counselor. If you are even asking for someone, maybe you can talk about it later, and we see how best to go about it. So, but I don't know if others have reactions, they can also bring it on. Yes, also I'm seeing a number of calls for the slides. I will share them. So once you are on our Care Corner platform, the link to the platform has been shared by Madam Claudia. So the WhatsApp group, the Ghana Growth Call Center WhatsApp group has been shared. So the slide will be shared over there. So you can tap join, and once it is shared, you have access to. It will be difficult sharing to individuals one after the other. So once you're on the page, it reaches everyone. If you also want to reach out to us as Ghana Grows, the contact number has also been shared. It's 030-8255-775. You can equally reach out to us with your concerns. Okay, so Musa is saying, this is my first time here and I'm really enjoying the session. Please, in this weekly series, will the presentation slide be shared? Yes, I've mentioned that it will be shared, but join the group. The link has been shared again. Join and you get. Yes, so it's a weekly series we've been doing. But we are seeing if maybe a revision can be done where we are with every 2 weeks than every week. But that we are still in that negotiation, because sometimes some programs come in between and we are not able to. However, as at now, yes, it is a weekly series. So we're looking forward to a next one. Our next topic will be on emotional healing. And that will be the last for this series. And then we'll continue with other topics. So the last on the self-concept series is emotional healing. So that is what we'll be doing next after this one. Okay, so I've seen your comments. There's a lot of appreciation. Thank you, thank you. I've seen all of you, and I thank you too for joining and making the program successful. No new comment. Serena is asking, when will the emotional intelligence be done? Hopefully, next week. Hopefully, if we didn't do it next week, that will be next 2 weeks. But we are hoping that next week, Sunday, 5 p.m., like today, we will have that done. But if it didn't happen, it may be the following week. But let's see. So please join the platform, and we'll share all the updates over there with you. I see a lot of requests for the slides. Yes, it will be shared. All right, so I think I've read all messages now, and there are no hands up either. So I want to acknowledge all of you for joining. Let me acknowledge my boss, Ike Mawena. Thank you for joining. Mr. Seth Koku Amewo, Headmaster at Akusina High School. Thank you for joining us as well. Mr. S.Y. Ahosu, and many others. We are really glad to see you today. So this is a Ghana Growth Project, which is organized by Ghana Psychological Association, Spring Board Roadshow Foundation, and MasterCard Foundation. So we call it the Care Center or the Care Corner. We do this weekly. Okay, so in the absence of any question, contribution, we would like to bring today's session to a close. And I pray that God Almighty will help us all to manage our temper so that we're able to control our emotions. It is very important. And let us remember that it is not about how you are expressing it, but the how people are seeing you. Your response is about how people see you when you are responding. So the truth is, your anger is much more likely to have negative impact on the way people see you. Because when you're angry, your judgment abilities are impaired, and a lot of things will go against you. So let us learn how to manage our anger. And when we are angry, we should make sure that we don't hurt others when we are angry. Don't hurt yourself when you are angry. And don't destroy or hurt properties when you are angry. Try to take steps to manage your anger. And also know that all emotions, including anger, are valid. However, how we respond to these emotions may not always be valid. So check the way you react when you are angry. So thank you, and God bless you all for being with us this evening. There's a question here, but I think that I'll have to leave it to Madam Claudia. The person is asking, please, any CPD point for renewal of our PIN. I don't know if this program has been credited with GPC. So, to the best of my knowledge, we can't accredit any point as such. However, I don't know if Madam Claudia is with us. If you may want to respond to that.
I'm here. I would have to get back to him on this. So he can put it on the page. Once I have feedback, I'll share it.
All right, thank you. So, Madam Dora Kubonu, please join the chat, the platform, and put the concern there so that Madam Claudia can get you appropriate response. All right, thank you and have a good evening. Bye.